All right, friends, it's Team On. We're back with a brand new video. Today it's on Greg Doucette, man, the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness, and gear sleeve himself, Greg Doucette. So Greg Doucette in this video says, the experts explain how natties grow. Well, the experts are going to explain how natties grow.
And so imagine if instead of you grow 2 pounds of muscle across your entire body, imagine if those 2 pounds were literally just put on your side delts.
Yes. Oh my God.
You can't grow 2 pounds of muscles on your body because muscles are post-mitotic, and I could use real science to prove everything that I say.
Oh, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Hell no,
What the fuck, man? Grass.
This is a brain rot special.
Cooking in the basement.
How natties grow. Struggling to gain muscle as a natty? Ask the expert. This expert is Jeremy Ethie. I guess he has an exercise kinesiology degree. I think he has his master's, so he is somewhat of an expert, but oftentimes he makes mistakes. He oftentimes says things wrong, and so I'm betting he's going to do that in this video. I'm going to react to this video, and I'm going to try to teach the natties how to actually grow, like the right way without making mistakes. I mean, half the
He's going to teach the natties how to grow without mistakes? All right, I'm going to use real science to explain what makes people really grow, unlike Greg Doucette.
things he says about cardio are wrong, lifting weights is wrong, and so let's just make sure he's not wrong, and hopefully learn from it. And we're going to see what Mike Israfeld thinks. Does he agree with Jeremy?
Imagine if instead of you grow 2 pounds of muscle across your entire body, imagine if those 2 pounds were literally just put on your side delts.
Yes.
No!
Again, you can't grow 2 pounds of muscles because muscles are post-mitotic. You can hypertrophy, but you can't grow muscle. It's post-mitotic. And science will prove everything that I say.
This is the most stupid thing I've ever seen. Well, that...
Exactly. Let me prove it right now. So it's just a quick AI overview from Google. This statement, muscles are post-mitotic. This statement, muscles are post-mitotic, is generally considered true for mature skeletal muscle fibers, meaning they do not undergo division mitosis to create new muscle cells. See that, dude? You understand me, man? Post-mitotic status of muscle fibers definition. Mature skeletal muscle cells, myofibers, are post-mitotic, meaning they are fully differentiated and no longer divide. They no longer divide. No matter what you do, man. You understand me? Walk with a bull, lift a weight, they're post-mitotic. Those muscles are not dividing. They are not growing, they're not dividing, therefore they're not growing. They're not growing. Now, how muscles hypertrophy, that's totally different. Now they talk about regeneration because muscle fibers themselves cannot divide. Muscle regeneration and repair. Listen to the word repair. So what are you repairing exactly? Injuries. You're repairing injuries. Rely on a separate population of stem cells known as satellite cells. So you have to do something very specific to hypertrophy a muscle through something called a repair mechanism, a damaging and repair mechanism. You understand me? Not a lifting mechanism, not a body slave lifting mechanism, body slave lifting or walking, right? You have to do something very specific called muscle injuries. You understand me? You have to go through an injury and a repair mechanism. So you have to injure and repair to cause something to cause it to activate the satellite cells, the stem cells, which are for repairing your body, to try to get it to make it hypertrophy. But however, muscles will only hypertrophy when protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown. Limited repair. Listen to what it says. Limited repair. While new muscle fibers can be formed through the activation and differentiation of satellite cells, the mature fibers themselves do not multiply. You understand me, man? You're hypering and atrophying. Key findings of muscle biology, muscle plasticity. Despite being post-mitotic, muscle tissue is highly plastic, meaning it can change its structural and function properties. Hypertrophy in response to environmental demands like exercise. Yeah, but specific exercise, like it says here. Look, adaptation when undergo stress or after injury. Skeletal muscle can undergo remodeling through protein synthesis, but this does not involve division of the muscle fiber itself. Get it, dude? Yeah. Regeneration source. While satellite cells are the primary source for repair, some studies suggest a very small number of muscle nuclei might be derived from other sources such as bone marrow, but this is not the primary mechanism for growth or repair. Okay. And then it tells you a bunch of stuff here. Post-mature muscles, confused post-mitotic, You get the idea, man? So you all want to know what actually hypertrophies muscles. So we know what the triggering device is, right? The stimulus. Now, what will hypertrophy those muscles? Well, AI overview, real science. This is correct. This is correct. The net balance between muscle protein synthesis and muscle protein breakdown determines whether muscle tissue is gained, lost, or maintained. Yeah. When protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown, that's when you see that mass on that myofibrillar. Get it, dude? When the rate of MPS exceeds the rate of MPB, the body is in a positive net protein balance, leading to the what? Accretion of new muscle proteins, specifically within the myofibrils, contractile units. Myofibrillar hypertrophy. This is specific type of muscle. This specific type of muscle growth involves what? An increase in the size and or number of myofibrils, which are the primary structures for force generation. These are the primary structures for force generation, for producing force and generation, force production. Get it, dude? The role of resistance training. Yes, exercise increase muscle protein turnover, blah, 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 blah. I don't need to go anymore. So whatever. So when breakdown outpaces synthesis, conversely, a protein breakdown outpaces synthesis during starvation, disuse, or lack of proper recovery, net loss of muscle mass occurs. Well, you don't want that. Get it, dude? So in summary, for myofibrillar mass to increase, the rate of building new proteins must consistently exceed the rate of breaking down old, damaged ones. Why? Because we're building up and breaking down proteins all day long. Now, if you go to the gym and you exercise, you're now opening a window for protein breakdown. You're breaking down more proteins now. Get it? So the rest. Here's the thing: you just want to work out once, and then the rest of the week you want to hypertrophy. You don't want to keep coming in the gym because you'll never catch up with the hypertrophy. Get it? And muscles, they don't damage, repair, and remodel every single day of your exercise regime. Get it? You understand me? There's something called repeated bout effect. It protects muscles from getting these micro injuries and yada, yada, yada. So there you go. I proved my point in this video. Oh, and before I go, I want to use NCBI. So nutrition and muscle protein synthesis, a descriptive review. What does it say here? If muscle is going to gain mass, protein synthesis must exceed protein breakdown. You understand me? Must exceed protein breakdown. To see that mass on that myofibrillar, I even did another one. I wrote it up here in AI one more time. Yes, your statement is entirely correct. Muscle hypertrophy, specifically the increase in the size of myofibrils, the contractile components of muscle fibers, occurs when the rate of muscle protein synthesis exceeds the rate of muscle protein breakdown. And it must be for a consistent period of time. It can all happen today and not happen tomorrow. Get it, dude? Otherwise, you'll be breaking down proteins again, and you'll never catch up with the buildup. You'll never catch up with the remodeling. This statement is referred to as a positive net balance, meaning more new muscle fiber is being built than is being broken down. More is being built than is being broken down. Get it, dude? Maybe you need to go study biology. I don't know. So you see how fast
That happens every day. This is about a pound each. If I put a pound of muscle on my delts, I'm going to be huge. 1 pound on each side. They just said, oh, you're at the level where you can only put on about 2 or 3 pounds of muscle per year. And so, you're more...
You can't hypertrophy. You can't cause muscle micro injuries doing a lazy workout in an adapted state. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. And to hypertrophy these contractile proteins, you need to be in net positive protein balance.
advanced lifting, you're not in your newbie gains. And so rather than trying to spread it out over your entire body,
There's no such thing as newbie gains. There's untrained first training satellite cell fusion hypertrophies. That's all. Satellite cell fusion hypertrophy. That's when you first came in the gym. All right, I'll explain this newbie gain thing too in this video quick so people understand. So this is from PubMed NCBI. Myonuclei acquired by overload exercise precedes hypertrophy and are not lost on detraining. You've probably seen this before. Or go down here to the famous map. Right there. So what's it say there? It says untrained first training satellite cell fusion, right? So listen to what it says. Untrained first training satellite cell fusion hypertrophy. Then it shows you a map here, detraining, retraining. You don't see any more hypertrophy here. Get it? Because now you're adapted. Here's the thing. A unique feature of eccentric exercise is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore the next day due to what? Muscle damage. So this is muscle. This is how muscles get damaged. When they're untrained, they get damaged. Okay. When they're untrained, unfamiliar, unaccustomed, and over exercising them, they get damaged. And the eccentric, there's always eccentric in all exercises. Some eccentric is more than other eccentric exercises because, I don't know, you're either doing it at the top or the bottom, whatever the hell you're doing there. The model of the connection between muscle size and number of myonuclei. In this model, nuclei are permanent. Previously untrained muscles acquire newly formed nuclei by fusion of satellite cell preceding hypertrophy, before hypertrophy can happen. You get it, dude? And that's you when you come in the gym because you're untrained first training satellite cell fusion. And then this is what happens to all of you. All right, so you have something called a myonuclear domain size limit, okay, from PubMed, like it says here. Then you scroll down here, it says MND size has a ceiling limit, during hypertrophic process. That hypertrophic process when you came in the gym, it has a ceiling limit. You understand me? During hypertrophic process. You understand me? Just because you got that one damaging cycle, it's not going to keep giving you nuclei because now you're adapted to your exercises. You're no longer unaccustomed, right? Or untrained or unfamiliar or whatever it is you're doing there. You understand me? Your body's not going to do it it's not going to do it a second time. You have to do it. So during that hypertrophic process, it reaches a limit. Get it? Hypertrophic limit. So it says here, MND size has a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process, beyond which extra nuclei, right, which extra myonuclei are donated by the satellite cell to do what? To support further muscle growth. So what do you need to do to support further muscle growth? You need to get what? Another donation of these nuclei. So what do you need to do? You need to repeat what you did when you first came in the gym. Get it, dude? It's not going to keep giving it to you forever and ever and ever. You understand me? It doesn't do that. It doesn't do that just because you came in the gym that one time. You understand? Listen to me, man. You understand that muscles are post-mitotic? They do not grow. They do not split, divide, and increase in number. It's the progenitor cell that has to come out and fuse with damaged, micro-injured fibers. You have to injure these fibers. You have to cause muscle injuries to them. Get it? To get more of them, and you need to be in protein synthesis. Get it? You need to be in net positive protein balance for a very extended period of time, or you will not see any of that. Though you will barely see any of these contractile proteins ever come out. And that's why people are so frustrated in the lifting world, because they don't understand how muscles are built. They think they're building post-mitotic muscles, and no, man. If you were to build post-mitotic muscles and they were completely permanent, you would commit suicide and die. No people could never work. And even muscles hypertrophying. For a muscle to hypertrophy, if you were just to lift a spoon or a box in your job and your muscles would just keep hypertrophying because you lifted boxes, bro, you would commit suicide and die. Get it, man? You understand me? So yeah, that's why that part, you being in protein synthesis, that will force the muscle to grow. If you're in positive protein net balance, you will force it to hypertrophy, providing you cause these micro injuries. Get it? Like in the beginning. Yeah. So you see quick overview. Eccentric exercises where muscles lengthen under load uniquely cause delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, in untrained individuals, peaking 24 72 hours post-exercise due to micro tears in the sarcomeres. The damage often from high tension braking motions. High tension braking motions causes stiffness, reduced strength, and inflammation. The muscle adapts rapidly to this, resulting in less damage upon subsequent bouts. Yeah, there's less damage in subsequent bouts because you're coming in too often, you're adapted, and then there's no more damage. Get it? So you have to repeat these cycles to get it to come back. It even tells you muscle damage from eccentric exercise. A unique feature of eccentric exercise is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore the day afterwards because of damage to what? To muscle fibers. Get it, bro? You understand? That's what's unique about it. That's what's unique. You understand me? So what's unique about people that are adapted coming into the gym? Guess what's unique about them? What are they getting? Nothing. They're recruiting motor units. Motor unit recruitment. They're body lifting slaves. They're not bodybuilding. They're not bodybuilding. You understand me? They're body lifting slaves now. You get the idea, dude, but whatever, man. Let's go back to the video.
Body, why not just put it exactly where you want? You want delts, you put it there. Oh, you want bigger arms? Let's just focus on putting all the muscle on our arms. You can't do that. It doesn't work like that. Let's watch more of the video. This is the intro. They got the intro wrong. I mean, is this to rage bait? You put an intro where everyone knows it's stupid, and so people watch and comment for the video. Jeremy writes 3 things he learned from this video. And so the only thing that I think he learned is about, he says his Lamborghini collection is unreal. I do think that we should find out what type of Lamborghini was it. Okay. Was it a Urus? Was it a Huracan? What type of Lamborghini was it? And how many are in his collection?
The name of the game
Does it really matter?
there is just consistency, right?
You know, Greg Doucette is so jealous that Jeremy Ether was smart enough to make these ridiculous exercise videos, and he found a lot of dumb slaves out there to watch his stupid ass videos. You understand me? He got rich quickly because he's got, like, I don't know, 8 million subscribers, 8 million slaves, peasant slaves to watch his stupid ass exercise videos. You understand me? And all you have to do is you can make literally one video explaining how to actually hypertrophy muscles, like I just did practically in this video. And okay, so you want to know how long it takes for muscles to repair and remodel. It takes 1 week, okay? 1 week. 1 week to 10 days, 14 days. It depends on if you're in protein balance, your protein balance, net balance, whatever. Now, here's the problem. If you're not particularly in net balance, in protein, well, guess what? In protein, or fucking positive nitrogen balance, your muscles may just repair and go back to the way they were. You understand me? Even though you got this damage. So you must be consistent in positive nitrogen balance. So we come in on the day, there's a reason. We come on the day and we overwork this muscle. Never mind untrained, unfamiliar. It's always unfamiliar, untrained. If you overwork this muscle, look, extreme exercise is associated with untrained, unfamiliar, and whatever, unfamiliar, untrained, unfamiliar, unaccustomed exercise, okay? Extreme exercise, though it's the same thing, those 3, okay? Because your muscles are unaccustomed to doing something extreme. And so it's an eccentric exercise. It doesn't matter. You could do a full range or just do the bottom part eccentric. Who gives a shit, bro? The point is, on the day, you do a full body workout. Do full body workout, and then you go down, then you go and you eat for a couple of hours. You keep making sure you're in positive nitrogen balance. Before you come in the gym, you make sure you're in positive nitrogen balance. You have to eat a lot of protein. Before you work out, you have to eat lots of protein. After you work out, and later on, you still have to eat a lot of protein. And the next day, when you come in and do your legs, the same thing. You come in, you do your legs, extreme exercise, get it? You do a lot of something, and then you get this damage to come back, and then you stay in positive nitrogen balance. Again, eating, and then you stay like that the rest of the week. Okay, dude? So now you don't have to compete with breaking proteins down all the time the rest of the week. Now you're building, you're hypertrophying. And then at the end of the week, you weigh yourself and you'll notice you've gained about 1 pound in muscle, okay? Or 1 pound in myofibril growth, okay? Whatever you want to call it. You get the idea.
After a year of doing that, just simply showing up, you can make pretty good newbie gains, right?
What is
Again, listen to what he says, newbie gains. Did I not just show you what's this newbie gains? Untrained, first training, satellite cell fusion, hypertrophy. Those are the newbie gains. And then what? The repeated bout effect kicks in, and then there's no more gains because you're adapted to all your exercises. Your exercises are not focused on trying to get these micro muscle damage, micro injuries, get it, to the muscle fibers so that you can get them to hypertrophy, duh.
holding you back exactly? Well, in the beginner stage, when you first join the gym, all it is showing up. I mean, I have to agree. If you
No, it's not. It's not just showing up. It's not just showing up to the gym. You're imagining things. You have to have a listen. I could literally show up every week and then get no damage if I'm not concentrating on making to create those damages. I have to focus in my mind that I have to overwork it to make sure that I get those damages. But I could literally come in and just work out and not put that in my mind. I just do a workout and not get any damage. Literally. It can happen like that. That's why they say mind to muscle connection. You need to have a mind muscle connection to cause these micro injuries. You need to know what to look for. You start becoming weaker in the exercises. You lose range of motion, you become weaker, and the next day you'll get these DOMs for at least 3 to 4 days.
show up and you consistently lift weights, even if you do everything wrong, even if you're not going to failure, you're just simply going to the gym and training, you're probably going to put on some muscle.
But in order to
You're not going to put on any muscle. Muscle's post-mitotic. Not doing these flimsy exercises, you're not. You don't put on muscle in gyms or anything. You put on myofibril growth outside, hypertrophying them.
get the next phase of growth, you can't
Yeah, that's a shitty workout. He's going up against gravity. You go. What did it say? The stopping motion's going with eccentric. That's where the damage happens.
just continue doing what you were doing. Now you actually have to create a system.
Look, he's adapted because he came in 3 days a week. He skipped a day, came in, skipped a day, came in. Muscles cannot damage and then repair that fast. They cannot damage, repair, and remodel that quickly. They cannot damage, repair, and remodel within 24 hours of your workouts. It's impossible. And then there's something you have to tackle called repeated bout effect phenomena. It protects all the other muscles from becoming damaged. If one section of the muscles are damaged, there's all kinds of problems, hurdles.
System for tracking your progression.
No.
Plus, every time you come in, you're breaking down proteins now. Every time you exercise, you're breaking down. So how can you catch up and be in positive nitrogen balance? How can you be in positive nitrogen balance if you're fucking breaking down proteins all day, working out, bro? You're a body lifter. You're a body lifter. You're not a bodybuilder anymore. You're not bodybuilding. You're body lifting.
I don't agree with this. Just because you've been training for 6 months doesn't mean you need a system and you have to track everything you're doing in order to make gains. You could very well continue to go to the gym and all you need to do is train hard. If you go to the
See, guys, all you have to do is go to the gym and train hard, and it will magically do everything for you. It will just happen magically if you just train hard. See, you don't have to be in positive nitrogen balance. You don't have to cause these muscle micro injuries. All you have to do is listen to Greg Doucette and train hard. Get it? Got it, man?
gym and you go and do some work, you train hard.
Yeah, you just go to the gym and you train hard. Get it? And then you pray to God. You go to church and pray to God and say, God, make the muscles grow magically like Greg Doucette, this piece of shit.
Without writing anything down, without tracking a single thing, you will continue to make gains. And
Yeah, without tracking anything, just work hard and you will continuously make gains. But guess what? How come Greg has to sell you Turkesterone and all these tablets and GO2 maxes and powders and shit? Get it? Why does Greg have to take steroids? If all you had to do was just train hard, right? Go to a gym, right? If that's all you had to fucking do, like this piece of shit, this cum sucking piece of shit, then guess what? Everybody would be fucking massive, wouldn't they, right? Right? Greg wouldn't have to take his fucking stinky steroids, his stinky shit.
so I don't care if it's the first 6 months.
He wouldn't have to been a steroid dealer and selling steroids to other people too, right? Why? Because working hard does not build muscle. Because muscle is post-mitotic.
So the first gains. And so I don't care if it's the first 6 months or the first 6 years, consistency is what matters. If you just say, I'm going to take 3 months off.
If you're consistent at failing and never gaining, yeah, you're consistent at doing that, yeah. Keep coming to the gym and be consistent at failing.
I'm not going to go to the gym, or I'm not working out this week, next week maybe. You're not making gains. But you don't need assist.
Yeah, I would agree about being consistent. If you're just like if you're fucking up the damage and repair mechanism, you coming into the gym here and there and here, it won't work. You have to come in once every week, and then you have to hypertrophy. You have to be in positive nitrogen balance the entire week. So that when you come back the following week and you want to gain another pound of muscle, you have to repeat the same cycle. Otherwise, you will not gain it. You understand me? It will not happen. You have to do it to whatever it is you want to get to. I don't know what that number is. Maybe it's 10 pounds of myofibrillar growth. Maybe it's 20, 30, 40. Whatever it is, you have to be consistent. It has to be long period, long term. You can't just stop.
Systematic plan to track everything. I know, of course, they're trying to sell tracking programs, apps, and so on.
Yes, let me put it this way. If you do not have money to eat, to build myofibrillars, because money builds myofibrillars. If you don't have money to eat, I recommend you don't do it. That's all. It's really simple. Don't waste your time. Just put it that way.
You can still make gains.
Money, no, you won't make gains. That's why he's gonna sell you cheap stuff to put water in your muscles, and they're gonna pretend that you have gains by putting water in your muscles, like creatine, turkesterone, and all these fake powders. You'll pump water in your muscles, or he'll tell you to eat a lot of carbohydrates. So you eat a lot of carbohydrates and you'll blow your muscles up. It'll be fake. It won't be myofibrillar growth. It'll be sarcoplasmic. It'll be non-contractile proteins. It'll be fake, and you'll atrophy. You'll hypertrophy and atrophy.
Without getting it. It would be like saying, the first couple months, very easy to lose weight. You don't have to track anything, but after 2 months, you can't lose weight unless you buy an app. And unfortunately, this video isn't sponsored by an app. I don't need to do that, but...
Oh, yeah, right. That's all he's selling is his app. That's what he sells, is his fucking program to exercise.
Do you get it? Do you really need an app to track your...
You get it?
...calories in order to lose weight, or you just eat a bit...
Do you need an app to track calories to lose weight? Oh, now he's talking about losing weight. I thought we were talking about building muscles. You want to lose weight? Just eat protein. Just be in a feast and not a famine. If you eat peasant slave food diets from his cookbook, you'll gain weight. That's the problem. That's the whole idea. His book is made for you to gain weight. His cookbook, it's an estrogenic cookbook to gain weight. It's not to build muscle, to gain weight.
Less. And so if you go to the gym and you train consistently and you put a bit of effort in, then of course you're going to continue to make gains. Now, personally, I still think it's...
No, you're not. If you keep going to the gym and be consistent at failing, you're not going to make any gains, because the gains are made when they're injured, when muscle fibers are injured. That's why they call it DOMS. It was associated with DOMS. Get it? Delayed onset. It's heavily associated with DOMS. Delayed onset muscle soreness, bro. Get it? The holy grail of muscles hypertrophying is when protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown. That's the holy grail. But guess what? He's going to sell you turkesterone. Why? Because if you're so consistent in the gym, you should be building, right? So how come you're not building in your consistency coming into the gym? Because you're consistent in breaking down proteins, and you're consistent in not causing micro muscle injuries, and you're consistent in breaking down proteins. You're not consistent in being in positive nitrogen balance. Get it? The opposite. Everything you're doing is the opposite. But guess what? He's going to give you turkesterone so you can pump water in your muscles.
Too early to bother with Turk Builder Max, Turk Platinum.
See, why do you need that? Why do you need Turk Builder Max if Greg just said just be consistent coming to the gym?
These items are very, very strong. You don't need it as a beginner when you first start training in the gym.
Why don't you need it as a beginner when you first start coming into the gym? Because guess why? Remember what it said in that map in nuclei overload precedes hypertrophy, not lost on detraining. Untrained, first training, satellite cell fusion, hypertrophy, remember? What do we know about untrained, unfamiliar? Untrained, unfamiliar, unaccustomed, untrained, unfamiliar, extreme exercise and eccentric exercise are associated with what? Widespread muscle damage.
Wait until you're hitting a plateau. At that point, that's when you need to start being more creative. Perhaps.
Okay, so why are you hitting a, think about it. He says, okay, when you hit a plateau, that's when you need to think about this. Here's the question. Why are you hitting, when people hit plateaus, what do? They try to figure out how to exceed that plateau, right? They try to figure it out. Okay, so when you hit it's not a plateau, it's called myonuclear domain size limit. So now that the progenitor reached the ceiling limit during that hypertrophic process, what do you need to do? You need to repeat that cycle again, get it? So you understand me? So that you can activate the satellite cell. So what is a unique feature of eccentric exercise is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore the next day due to what? Muscle damage. Get it, broski? You understand me? But here's the thing. Something unaccustomed, extreme exercise could be construed as unaccustomed. So what's a unique feature of extreme exercise? Okay, here, look, I'll bring it up because people are stupid. So I'll explain the connection between the two, okay, what I was talking about in the video. So I'll use AI overview again. A unique feature of extreme, or what? They say unaccustomed. So what do we know that was, what do we know that a unique feature of eccentric exercise is that unaccustomed subjects become stiff and sore the next day due to what? Muscle damage. Okay, so what's a unique feature of extreme or unaccustomed exercise? Extreme. Particularly that involving what? Eccentric contractions, lengthening of the muscle under tension. It is its ability to cause widespread what? Severe muscle damage. And that's what activates the satellite cell. Get it? In individuals who are not trained or unaccustomed to such stresses. What did it say here? Extreme. So what is extreme to you? An exercise that you're doing extreme exercise. It's known to cause widespread muscle damage. This phenomenon is often characterized by significant delayed muscle soreness. Delayed muscle soreness, get it? Reduced range of motion and swelling, which can last for several days or weeks. Get it, dude? And that's the time when you hypertrophy your muscles. That's when you hypertrophy your muscles because it activates the satellite cell. Specific mechanism of injury, unaccustomed extreme exercise, structural changes in the cellular level, specifically Z-line streaming and the disruption of sarcomeres, the smallest contractile units in the muscle. When untrained subjects are subject to heavy eccentric loads, weaker sarcomeres are stretched beyond their capacity, popped, resulting in the structural changes in the muscle fiber, the repeated bout effect. The key aspect of this is noted in research is that a single initial bout of this type of damage produces protective adaptations. It does produce protective adaptations. When it builds more sarcomeres, it protects the other sarcomeres from getting damaged. Subsequent bouts of the same exercise even a week later cause significantly less damage and soreness. Why? Because one of the proposed mechanisms in NCBI was what? One of the proposed mechanisms is that they got us an increase in sarcomere number in muscle fibers. Get it, broski? So widespread muscle damage and symptoms. Unlike a localized muscle strain, hamstrings, unaccustomed extreme exercise causes diffuse damage across large muscle groups, leading to delayed onset muscle soreness. Potentially for serious consequences in rare extreme cases, unaccustomed high intensity exercise can lead to, well, it can, but that only happens in crazy people that over-exercise. What do you call it? They keep coming in every day and they got this damage. What's it called? Crossfitters. They get rhabdo. So metabolic and structural changes. The damage causes an addition in structural impairment, a sustained loss of muscle strength, increased membrane, whatever. The phenomenon highlights the body's whatever. Intense damage observed in newcomers is a new norm setting process rather than a permanent injury, allowing the muscles to become more resilient to future similar stresses. How does it do that? By growing muscles. See what I look. NCBI, man. Eccentric muscle contractions, risks and benefits. However, unaccustomed exercise is known to cause muscle damage and delayed pain. Okay, commonly defined as delayed onset muscle soreness. Whatever. You get the idea, man. You know what I mean? Borowski.
Perhaps at that point, you can start tracking and making sure you're progressive overloading, or that is to train harder than last time, but
Yeah. Just train harder than last time, like Greg just said, and progressively overload. Okay, adapted. And what is that going to do if you're adapted? How's that going to work for you? You're increasing more motor units. Motor units protect muscles from getting these micro damages so you can hypertrophy. The more often you come in, the more you recruit motor units, the less you're recruiting muscle micro injuries. You're not recruiting muscle micro injuries. You're recruiting motor units. If you come in often to the gym, you're a body lifting slave. You're not a bodybuilder anymore.
Till you hit a plateau, just show up to the gym.
Again, you're not hitting a plateau. You hit a myonuclear domain limit.
And train.
You get so frustrated that things are slowing down, and it's like, I'm not making any more gains. So what do? I did,
Things slowed down right away in the beginning because why? Remember what it said? What was a unique thing when the group came in the second week? They got much less damage. If you're getting much less damage, then you're getting much less growth, right? And here's another thing: if you're not in positive nitrogen balance, then you're not going to see any growth anyway. So it doesn't really matter, right? You got to be in positive nitrogen balance the entire time. Protein synthesis needs to outpace protein breakdown to see that mass on that myofibrillar. Get it, man? It's a combination of both of them. You need to bring them back. It's incumbent upon you to bring them back. Your body's not going to do it for you. And these testosterone's not going to damage the muscles for you, or steroids. They don't cause muscle micro damages to the muscle fibers. You need to do it.
70 pounds presses last week. I have to do 75 pounds.
At iHerb,
I have to do 75 pounds this week.
And so I have to.
No. If you did 70 last week and you have to do 75 this week and you're adapted, you're recruiting motor units. Get it, bro? If you come in often to the gym, you're not recruiting muscle micro damages to hypertrophy muscles. You are recruiting motor units. There's a difference. Motor units protect muscles from getting damaged.
Agree with Jeremy here. After 3 to 6 years, people are thinking they're going to still make the same gains that they were once doing. It doesn't work like that. You can't get stronger every single workout. Even
you can get better at lifting. You can recruit motor units with every workout. You call that stronger. You're getting better at lifting. Yeah, you're progressively overloading, but you're not causing micro injuries.
with performance-enhancing drugs, this is not going to be the case. And so rather than thinking every single time you go to the gym, you have to add 5 pounds to the body.
Yeah, because all of you are shooting for the sky when you should be shooting towards Earth, gravity. It's the eccentric that causes the micro injuries. It's gravity. Going with gravity is what causes it. There's less energy being used. You're expelling more energy going against gravity. It's exhausting. It's exhausting climbing up a hill, but it's less exhausting running down a hill. It's a lot easier.
Or you have to get an extra rep. Just go and train hard.
See, guys, just fucking go and train hard like this fucking asshole, man. Get it? Like him. That's why he has to take steroids, because he's training hard.
Frustrating for me, because all you need to do is go to the gym and push yourself.
See, it's so frustrating for him, man. Bro, it's so fucking frustrating for Greg douchebag, because you need to go to the gym and just fucking press yourself, yes.
Once you've been training hard, you just push yourself. Do you really think that every time I go to the gym, I've been...
See, guys, just go to the gym and just fucking push yourself. That's all. Just push.
Training for 40 years, that I put on a weight that I did last time. And
shit, he's been training for 40 years. He's not been training for... He's full of shit. But whatever, man. Training for 40 years on steroids, okay.
I'm thinking, okay, I need to get in a half a rep extra. I need to pause 1 second longer. I need to progress like that. I put a weight on and I go train my freaking ass off every single time. If I couldn't...
Yeah, that's nice, but that's not how muscles hypertrophy.
Do as well the week before.
In other words, that's not how myofibrillars hypertrophy. Maybe sarcoplasmic. You can come in every day and try to outpace glycogen breakdown, glycogen, but glycogen is not protein.
I'm tired, whatever. I just give it my best shot. If you give it your best shot and you really work yourself in the gym, you are going to make progression for 10 plus years.
Maybe they're going, an inch or two less deep than they were before. Yep. So on paper, they're making progress, but in reality, are they actually challenging their muscles anymore?
And so he's saying...
Oh, on paper, are they making progress, but are they challenging? It's not about challenging anything.
Stop with the thinking you need to go up 5 pounds. Stop thinking you're going to add an extra rep. I mean, if you went up a rep a week, that would be 52 reps in a year. No one is improving 52 reps in a year. Imagine you're doing 200 pounds for 10 reps, and within a year, you're doing 200 pounds for 62 reps.
Yeah.
No one's improving at that rate. I don't even care if you're using steroids. And so expect to be underwhelmed. Go to the gym knowing it's about pushing yourself and not about seeing visual changes in the gym each and every week. And this happens all the time. I'm getting messages from clients saying, how many weeks before I notice a huge increase in size and strength? And I'm like, you've been training for almost 10 years. You expect a huge, noticeable change in size and strength. Enrique! It's not going to happen. And so
10 years, man. It only takes a couple of months to hypertrophy your muscles. You could be like 250 pounds within a 6-7 month period. What are you talking about?
go to the gym, push yourself, and be patient.
If you actually put in the time and ate, like, like fat people, you know how they eat? Well, only fat people eat garbage, though. You're going to eat protein all day, get it? You're going to eat animal proteins. You're going to go to the buffet. You're going to eat variety of different kind of animal proteins. I don't know, chicken wings, seafood, beef, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're going to eat a ton of shit there, man. And then you're going to make more stuff at home, more stuff. All day you're going to be eating. Restaurants, you're going to be eating at restaurants. You're going to be eating at like fucking buffets. You're going to order the biggie plates with lots and lots of meat and lots of animal products and eat tons and tons of it. You're going to have a lot of money to do that. You're going to eat a lot. You're going to consume a lot. Requires a lot of energy. Requires a lot of energy and protein to build myofibrillar growth, bro. Get it?
Most people, once the gains slow down, they kind of just quit the gym.
Why did the gains think about it? They quit the gym when the gains slow down. The gains slowed down right away in the beginning, remember? It showed you there in that map, and nuclear overload precedes hypertrophy. It didn't show any more gains after that because people are adapted. They're coming in, they're atrophying, and then they atrophy, and then they come back, and then they go, oh, look, muscle memory, I got back some of these gains. It's just shitty gains you got back. It's just the same gains you got in the beginning. All you did was recall the same ones to come back. You didn't get any additional gains because you stayed there. You stayed there like a fool, get it? Like listening to Greg Douchebag here. You understand me?
Push themselves as hard. They're thinking, well, why bother pushing hard? I haven't gotten stronger for 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, keep pushing in an adapted state and see if those muscles will micro injure you, and then see if they will hypertrophy without you eating anything, any food.
Natural bodybuilding, you usually peak later on.
In your 40s.
In your 40s, exactly.
Disagree again. Natural.
Yo, what? Peak what in your 40s? They're just making this shit up, man. And so is Greg.
Bodybuilders are not going to peak in their 40s. I'm sorry. I was a natural bodybuilder.
I told you, that's why bodybuilding cannot be a sport. If you're trying to bodybuild to build myofibrillar growth, so it's a carryover to other sports, it's not a sport bodybuilding. It's a carryover to other sports, but it itself is not a sport. It is a mechanism to create more sarcomeres in parallel and series so that you could be it's associated with strength, power, speed, and performance. You've increased it now. In other words, let's say you go and you get good at doing these things. You recruit motor units, you get good at swimming, whatever sport that you're doing. But here's the problem. You're going to reach a limitation, right, in your original sarcomeres that you have. So the question is this: what do you need to do to enhance your performance? That you can beat somebody else out. Let's say that you've practiced that running. You run really, really, really fast, but you can't run any more fast. You can't run faster anymore. You've reached like a limit in your sarcomeres, your muscles, your motor units, whatever. What do you need to do? Well, what do you need to do? You need to take up bodybuilding. You need to try and create more. Get your body to create more what? Sarcomeres in parallel and in series. And that will do what? That will enhance your performance. Get it? These nuclei, the remodeling, the increase in sarcomeres in parallel in series will increase what? Will enhance your performance. Get it, dude? So the more of it that you can create, the more you'll enhance your performance, the faster you will run. And you can beat out the competition. You'll beat the competition. Get it, dude? You understand? You understand me, bro? It's associated with strength, power, speed, and performance. It now increases 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 fold.
Natural for perhaps longer than 99.
Look, he just shows some crazy guy on a stage on drugs, posing. That's not bodybuilding. That's drug addict shit.
0.9% of people who ever use performance-enhancing drugs. I started taking.
Listen to what he says. Performance enhancing drugs. That's why people take steroids, so they can enhance their what? Their performance. Now, how do you enhance your performance in the natural world without drugs? By increasing what? Sarcomeres in parallel and series. Get it, dude? By increasing myofibrillar growth. It enhances your performance. Get it? It's associated with strength, power, speed, and performance. Yeah, man. Look, I'll prove everything that I say right here. AI overview. Yes, increasing myofibrils. A process known as myofibrillar hypertrophy is fundamentally associated with enhanced physical performance, specifically by increasing muscle strength, power, and what? Speed. Get it, men? Unlike sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which primarily increases the volume of fluid in the muscle, myofibril hypertrophy involves the growth and multiplication of contractile proteins, actin and myosin, that create force. See? Increased strength and force production. More contractile units are the parts of the muscle responsible for contraction. Increasing their number means more contractile units are what? Pulling on the bone, which directly results in higher force generation. Yeah, man. Higher muscle density, long-term gains. Enhanced power and speed, force, faster force production. Improved nervous system coordination, rate of force development. Key differences in training context. Training intensity, mechanism, functionality, conclusion. What's the conclusion? You get denser, stronger muscles, improve athletics ability to exert high force and high speeds. High force and high speeds. You can increase it, get it, without drugs. You don't have to be a drug addict, get it? You don't have to be a drug addict. You can do it naturally. And guess what? You can beat all these drug addicts because when they get caught in the Olympics or their sports, they get trashed for taking drugs. But guess what? You're going to increase it naturally, bro. Get it? And when you come in there, you're going to come in like a beast, bro. And you're going to step on these drug addicts like the cockroaches that they are. Get it, dude? You understand me, man?
9.9% of people who ever use performance-enhancing drugs. I started taking steroids in my 30s.
Look at this clown, man.
Started training at 10. I was at my natural limit at
Yeah. I took steroids. I was at my natural limit, whatever.
approximately 30. If you look at most bodybuilders who are natural, you're not going to see them continue to grow into their 40s or perhaps 40. It's going to be much sooner than that. And so I'm just telling you what you need to know. I believe that for most people,
Yeah, he's just telling you what you need to know, that he's scumbag.
max 35. If you've been training for 10, 15 years, and unless you've been doing everything wrong, you're likely not going to continue to grow when you're 35 plus. Doesn't mean
Yeah, you can continuously grow the rest of your life because it's based on muscle regeneration. It tells you the satellite cells and muscle regeneration. You can grow these myofibrillars indefinitely throughout your entire life. It never ends. He's a liar. I can prove it to you with science.
you shouldn't train, doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
Yeah, look, I'll prove it to you again in this. So look, I'll prove it using real science. Yes, it is well supported by scientific research that muscle regeneration, repair, and growth, hypertrophy, right, can occur throughout a person's 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. While the rate of muscle mass loss, sarcopenia, accelerates after age 60, resistance training can significantly do what? Reverse the process at any age, including for those over 70. Get it, dude? Here are the key: regeneration, muscle regeneration, later decades. See that? You can build muscle at any age and you can keep building it, provided protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown. And you're getting these muscle micro injuries. Get it? See what I mean? You understand me? Listen to what they said. They said repair. So you need to damage something to repair something. Something needs to be damaged to repair. If there's no damage, there's nothing for it to repair and remodel bigger and stronger and be in protein synthesis and whatever, nitrogen balance. Get the idea, broski? So it can happen anytime. Okay, dude? See that? There you go. I'm using overview, man. Look, I could use NCBI. I don't know if there's probably one here down at the bottom somewhere. I don't know. Maybe there's one here. The eccentrics. Anyways, you get the idea, man. So Greg's lying.
But don't expect it.
One of the biggest mistakes that intermediates make, which I also made back in the day,
Same proper
is
word.
The mistake Jeremy made was burning out. Remember that? When he posted he was up to 20+% body fat, he was pushing too hard.
Jeremy's been adapted since he started his channel. He's never overcome the newbie game, or whatever you want to call it, this adaptation process to the repeated bout effect phenomena. He's just he doesn't hypertrophy. He doesn't exercise for hypertrophy. So why would you watch a channel that has nothing to do with hypertrophy? It makes no sense. No, people are so dumb.
He had to take time away from the
None of his videos are about hypertrophy, other than maybe sarcoplasmic. I don't know, maybe phony hypertrophy.
gym. That's a mistake. You need to have a realistic body image and main gain from there. People are bulking and cutting, cutting. That is a mistake.
I love that one. People are bulking and cutting, but nobody's causing exercise-induced muscle damage and bulking. They're not bulking while doing exercise-induced muscle damage. So they're missing one of the recipes in the pie. If you miss one of the things in the pie, you cannot make a pie.
Rather than that, you should be at a healthy weight and continue to train.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. If it's 15%, do it there. If it's 20, do it at 20.
Yeah, just keep training, yeah.
But going from 20+% to single-digit body fat, back and forth, that is going to slow your gains.
You can only
Oh, yeah, back and forth. That's going to slow your gains, yeah.
put on 1 to 3 pounds of muscle per year. If you distribute that across your whole
1 to 3 pounds of muscle a year, then I would never go to the gym, man. I wouldn't waste my time, man. You're crazy. And you're not going to gain 1 or 2 pounds of muscle a year because muscles are post-mitotic. Get it, dude? In other words, hypertrophy has to be consistent. It has to happen right then and there. And the consistency of it has to be every single day. You need to be in positive nitrogen balance every day. If you're not, you can't build myofibulars like 1 pound a year, get it? Or whatever the fuck he's talking about. It's going to be sarcoplasmic or some bullshit. But anyways, you're not building muscle because muscle is post-mitotic.
body, that's not like a whole lot of change compared to the early years, right?
Yeah, you're right. 3 pounds of muscle on your whole entire body spread out, it's not like super crazy. I mean, it's slightly noticeable. Some people would see it, but not everyone. But it is, of course, worth doing. Remember, 2 to 3 pounds of muscle for 5 years is 10 to 15. 10 to 15 pounds of muscle is a lot. You're absolutely going to notice that. And so it's the consistency over the years that
2 to 3 pounds a year in a year.
pays off. Okay.
Yeah, it's the consistency being in positive nitrogen balance and the consistency of coming in once a week in the gym causing these muscle micro injuries is when you're going to see the most maximal amount of hypertrophy gains. Get it, dude?
So far, this makes sense. Remember, the intro is going to screw
No, none of it makes sense.
it up real soon.
And so imagine if instead of you grow 2 pounds of muscle across your entire body, imagine if those 2 pounds were literally just put on your side delts.
Yes.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
He is from Canada. It's a disgrace. I thought Canada was a good country. Since the last few years, I've realized that it's not. Healthcare and so on. We do have Chris Bumstead. We have Will Tennyson, but we also have Jeremy Etienne. You have to understand he has the same degree as me, and I have pride in my degree. I respect people who are educated in what I've studied. They have the same passion for health and fitness as me. But when they outright lie and say stupid shit like this, it bothers me. Now,
Yeah, it's like Greg just said. It bothers me when they say stupid shit like this, and both of them, they're all the same. They're all the same, saying the same stupid shit.
maybe it shouldn't bother me. I should just turn a blind eye. But I was also an educator. I was a school teacher in school. This guy could be a school teacher. Imagine. He's saying, when you're early on in your years, you can put on a lot of muscle, but then it slows down. Now, you can put on
It slows down. It slowed down in the beginning. Remember when the group came in the second week, what did they get? They got much less damage. Why? What was one of the proposed mechanism? An increase in sarcomere number and muscle fibers. That was one of them. And neural drive. There was an increase in neural drive. There was an increase in sarcomere number and muscle fibers. So you built You hypertrophied your muscles in the beginning because it was a given. It gave it to you for free in the beginning. And guess what? Then you stayed there. You're adapted. You're adapted. You're no longer in positive nitrogen balance, and you're not causing these muscle micro injuries. Because what's a unique feature of eccentric exercise is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore next day due to what? Muscle damage. But what's a unique feature of people that are now trained coming into the gym? What's a unique feature? That they're not getting what? Muscle damage. A unique feature of trained subjects coming into the gym, trained and adapted, they don't get muscle micro injuries. Get it, dude? They don't get growth anymore. Friends, so sorry, I got bumped off there. So a unique feature is what? AI overview. Based on the research results, your assessment is correct. Trained subjects exhibit a unique rapid adaptation to exercise that leads to a ceiling effect of equilibrium, where further hypertrophy muscle growth slows down or stops unless the training stimulus is significantly increased. So you have to do something very specific, you understand me, to increase that what? To increase that stimulus. You know what I mean? In other words, you can't be in equilibrium and you have to cause these muscle micro injuries. But if you don't want to, don't do it, I always say, and don't complain about it. You understand me? Look, adaptation, equilibrium, the ceiling. Effect. After a period of consistent long-term training, the body adapts to the stress placed on it. This creates a state of equilibrium where the muscle is no longer damaged. It's no longer damaged enough to require significant repair and growth, resulting in a plateau in what? Hypertrophy. Get it, broski? Neural adaptation. Neural adaptation versus muscle growth. Early in strength training gains are primarily driven by neural adaptations. They are, and that's where all you get confused. Improved coordination and motor unit recruitment, rather than pure muscle size. As a trained subjects, most of these neural adaptations are already achieved, meaning further strength gains can occur without corresponding muscle hypertrophy. Get it, dude? You understand me? But it's a different kind. It's a phony kind. It's based on motor units, not based on contractile protein strength. It's totally different kind of strength. Refractory anabolic pathways. In trained individuals, anabolic pathways may become more refractory to loading, meaning the same intensity that once triggered growth is no longer efficient. It's not sufficient. Get it? How to break the plateau. To overcome this, stimulus must be altered such that by what? Increasing progressive overload using heavy weights, more volume, sets, reps, or what? More intense techniques, extreme exercise. Introducing training variability, changing exercise selection, tempo, coordinating, like I said, extreme exercise, okay? You don't have to do drop sets, supersets, and this and that. If you're adapted, it won't work. You have to be unadapted to adapt. You have to be unadapted to adapt. Okay, whatever, man. You get the idea. The point is, you get the idea anyways. Man, this is ridiculous.
2 or 3 pounds of muscle a year. That's the stage that he's at because he's been training for more than 6 years. And so it's unlikely he's going to put on 10 pounds of muscle in a year. You can put on 2 or 3 pounds of muscle. For Jeremy, it's probably 2.
10 pounds of muscle in a year. You could literally, you can't put on 10 pounds of muscle in a year because muscles are post-mitotic with your weird exercise regime. Trying to make post-mitotic muscles grow. You can put on myofibrillar growth. You can put on about, I would say, at least a good 40 pounds you can put on 40 pounds in a year. It's not uncommon. You can even put on 50 pounds in a year. It depends how much you're eating and you're consistent in causing these muscle micro injuries. You're constantly doing that coming in.
So here's a hack. Rather than training all your body parts to spread out the muscle throughout your body, those 2 pounds.
Do the calculation. If you put on 1.5 pounds of myofibrillar growth, 1.5 pounds every single week, right? Coming in, doing exercise-induced muscle damage training, and you're in positive nitrogen balance. I mean, like literally positive, like you are really eating. And so do the calculation. 12 months, right? How many weeks in a month? I don't know, 4 weeks in a month. So you do the calculation. 1.5 pounds, 4 weeks a month, 12 months, whatever. You do the calculation. You figure out how many pounds you could put on in a year.
Just focus on the muscle areas that you want to grow. So, for example, if you don't care about your legs and you only want to look good in tank top, just train shoulders, arms, and chest and put all those muscles there. But specifically said just adults, you know. why waste some of those 2 pounds, putting it on your back or your calves or whatever, when you could just put it all on your delts? A pound of muscle, this is what it would be. Spread that over here. It doesn't work like that. You can't just snap your fingers and...
You can if you just work out your delts, right? And you cause them to keep getting micro-injured and you hypertrophy your delts by being in positive nitrogen balance, then they will hypertrophy. That one area will hypertrophy. You understand me? But all the other muscles will not grow. They will not hypertrophy. Just the shoulders will. So if you want to get bigger shoulders, but then you can't work out in any other muscle group. Here's the thing. If you want to hypertrophy your shoulders, you cannot work out in any other muscle group. So you need to focus on your shoulders. Come in consistently periodically, cause this muscle micro injuries in your shoulders, and then hypertrophy them. Get it? Be in positive nitrogen balance. And you'll notice your shoulders will get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, dude? Just work out on that one muscle group.
Train a single body part and say, all those 2 pounds, I want you to go right there. I don't want you to spread out.
You don't say, I want you to go there and spread them. You just simply work out on that one group and it will hypertrophy. Duh. Greg's so dumb.
I want it all right here. Is that understandable? Like, I feel like a grade primary kid would understand that, but am I explaining it enough so that you get it? And so if you compete in...
I guess he doesn't understand that with his kinesiology degree, he doesn't understand biology for some reason. Maybe he needs to go study biology. He's so dumb. He doesn't even understand hypertrophy. Oh, I know. He knows how to plop a needle in his ass and fake it.
Men's physique. And you really don't need quads. Like, you can't just double the gains of your upper body, but just training your upper body. Oh, you know what? I'm in men's...
What good was having the kinesiology, whatever stupid degree, if he doesn't even know how to use it?
Physique. Here's the hack. I'm hired Jeremy. Hey, I can only put on perhaps 5 pounds of muscle. Rather than training my whole body and putting 2.5 on the top and 2.5 on the bottom this year, I'm just going to focus solely on the upper body, put on 5 upper body, because I'm going to be having my legs covered in board shorts. It don't work like that. There's no correlation there whatsoever. You can't just stop training certain body parts and have the other...
Look, my channel's monetized. I cannot make money in advertising on my channel if I don't consistently put out videos, right? So if I want to make money, I have to be consistent in putting out videos. You understand me? Here's the thing. Blaha, like Jason Blaha and Greg Doucette, they're consistent in putting out garbage videos. The more garbage videos they put out, the more income they make in advertising from YouTube. YouTube pays them, right? They're consistent. And if they're consistent in making videos that people want to watch, then they're going to get more views and they're going to be consistent in making more money. So not only are they consistent in making these shitty videos, but they're also consistent in getting views. But here's the question. Why does Blaha get less views than Greg Doucette? Why is he's got like Greg? Look, Blaha's been around just as long as Greg Doucette on YouTube. I don't know, whatever. But Blaha's channel is not growing. It's at 115,000. Been there forever, 115,000, right? And his views are like only like in like 800, 500, 200, 100 views per video. But Greg Doucette, he gets like hundreds of thousands of views per video. And he's got like what? Almost like 1 million, 2 million subscribers now. It's like 2 million, right? So think about it. What's the difference? What is Greg Doucette doing that he's consistent at? What is Blaha doing that he's consistent at? Blaha is consistent at failing. You understand me? At failing. And Greg Doucette is consistent at what? At succeeding. That's the difference. You don't see Greg Doucette doing exercise videos in his garage, do you, on his channels, right? No. So what makes him so successful? The drama of the fitness industry. Get it? That's what people want to watch. Blaha, he's too stupid to realize that. He doesn't understand that drama is what gets you views. The question is this. People will say, man, you get more views than Blaha. I do. Want to know why? Because I don't show myself. I don't even show myself. I'm not exercising in a garage. I react to Blaha's videos because it's drama. Get it? And people watch me. You understand the difference? Because Blaha is too stupid to recognize that. And that's why he'll never succeed. He's too dumb to understand how how YouTube works. It's based on entertainment.
ones get twice as huge. Do you understand this? Do people get that?
Look at Greg. Look at all these pictures he keeps putting up here, so that your eyes. He's talking while your eyes are looking at these things. He's making fun. Get it? Drama.
Now I understand why Jeremy frustrates me to this extent.
That could make an incredible.
Greg doesn't put out exercise videos at all like Jeremy Ethier. Jeremy Ethier, he puts out exercise videos. You understand me? But the way he does it, he says he's using science. So people think, oh, I have to watch Jeremy Ethier because he's putting out science videos. Just like, what's his name? Jeff Nippard. Jeff Nippard puts out science exercise videos. So if you go to Jeff Nippard's channel, how many subscribers does he have? Let's go see. So Jeremy Ethier, he has 7.49 million subscribers. Now let's go see Jeff Nippard, how many he has. Because Jeremy Ethier does science-based lifting, right? So we know Jeff Nippard's been around a little bit longer, I think, than Jeremy Ethier, right? Okay, look at Jeff Nippard. 8.12 million. Science-based lifting, get it? See the difference? It's because he doesn't really talk about himself and lifting and doing anything. That's why these people are so popular. Now, if Greg Doucette started to do what Jeff Nippard did, and he started doing what Jeremy Ethier started doing, then his channel would start getting even massive like these guys. It would be massive like these guys. Because every time you go to these science-based lifting guys' channels, their numbers are huge, man. Holy shit, bro. They're huge. Get it? I'm not joking. What's that other guy? Dr. Milo Wolf? I don't know how big his channel is. He's kind of science-based, not particularly. But people find him annoying.
Milo Wolf.
Well, there you go. Dr. Milo Wolf, he's really tiny, 125k subscribers. It's shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's really shitty. Look, Dr. Mike Israetel, periodization renaissance, 3.83 million. That's a lot. That's why Greg Doucette's jealous of all these people, because they all have much more higher subscribes than Greg does. But Greg just feeds off drama, dude.
Change. Huge visual impact.
Exactly, right?
The only way you're going to put 2 pounds of muscle on your delts is if you're injecting hyaluronic acid in massive quantities, and it's not going to be muscle, it's going to be water, technically, inside of the muscle that you've injected from hyaluronic acid, sucking in the moisture and putting it into your muscle. And so you have swollen, round muscles. You see it in bodybuilders. They do this, and they don't
Yeah, because all their muscles are fake anyways. Their training is fake.
see any of the striations. You see it all the time. Guys who are
Listen, you don't look really superly massive when you build myofibrillar growth. You understand? You don't look superly massive. You look superly massive when you get sarcoplasmic growth. That's why it's associated with these aesthetic people. They do that because it's the easiest and you blow up fast and whatever.
injecting the muscles. You guys probably know synthol, well, hyaluronic acid, it's similar to that. And so the only way you're going to grow those kind of muscles is through injections.
Why don't I focus my volume on the
Grow those kinds of muscles through injections, okay.
areas that are going to transform my physique the most and make the biggest visual difference?
In a partial small way, this part is correct. If I want to make the greatest visual impact, why not focus on the body parts that I want to work out the most? So, for example, if you work out your delt,
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. No, none of this makes sense. Okay, whatever.
and they get wider, it's going to make your waist look smaller, and you'll have a
So if you work out and you eat a lot of carbohydrates and they get wider, is it based on myofibrillar growth? No, sarcoplasmic. Okay.
more impressive V-taper. So look at Hussein Farhad, for example, the wide shoulders.
Yeah, Farhat. Is his muscles all myofibrillar? I really doubt it. Looks sarcoplasmic to me, but whatever. You can kind of tell the soft look people have.
Big arms, the massive
It's like what's his name? Lee the black guy, 8-time Mr. Olympia. And then you look at Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates had like very dense muscle, a lot of myofibrillar growth. They're dense because his exercises were focused on that. And then you get that Lee guy, the black guy. He looks soft. He looks soft. He didn't look dense. He looks soft, sarcoplasmic, dude. That's all. That's why Dorian Yates, when people looked at him, they were like, holy shit. He had he had density, bro, as opposed to mass, like from sarcoplasmic.
Chest. He looks huge in a tank top. And so that is partially correct.
It's just the lighting here. He's trying to make himself look good.
But do you really think that Hussein looks bigger because he doesn't train his legs as much as his upper body? I mean, if Hussein only trained his upper body, do you think it's going to have double the muscle than if he trains his entire body? It doesn't work like that. You can train your entire body and make all of the muscles grow. You don't just have to say, you know what, I only really need these areas to improve. That would make the most difference. So I'm only going to train those. No, train every.
Some people do that. I remember a guy in my gym, he had like big arms. Then he was training everything else, but I guess he trained for quite a while his arms, and his arms got really big. I don't know.
Everything.
Could be sarcoplasmic, could be myofibrillar. I don't know what he was doing.
Train them all. Make them all get bigger. So, you know those three...
Yeah, that's why in myofibrillar growth, it's you train all the muscles, you damage all the muscles so that they grow together, get in unison.
Pounds of muscle that you can grow in a year. If you only train your delts, you're going to gain 0.2 pounds total for the entire year in your...
Yeah, but they can if they want to. It depends on what the person wants to do. Does it really matter, Greg?
delts. Why not just spread it out and train your entire body and gain all 3 of those pounds? And it will be spread out, but so what? Now, if certain body parts are too big, so for example, you're a woman and you've got friggin' jacked arms, and you're competing in women's wellness. Well, they want you to have a big ass and big legs. They don't really want you to have big arms. And so don't train your upper body and only train your legs. That makes sense. But by doing that, your legs are not going to double in size. They're going to get bigger at the same rate as if you trained your arms, but your arms are not going to get bigger. Does that make sense?
And so over the years, I was like,
I don't know. Does that make sense, man?
okay, I can only recover from so much volume.
So much total training.
Exactly, so much total training. So I'm going to lower it a little bit for the arms that don't need as much work as the rest of my muscles.
How many people think that that makes sense? Jeremy, you know, he has such an impressive physique. He's, I think, 6 feet tall and 170 pounds. He says, my arms grow so easy, so I just stop training arms as much because, like, why would I need to have big arms? Jeremy, your arms aren't big. They're decent, but they're not.
They're not big because he doesn't train. He doesn't do anything. He's adapted to all these exercises, man. He looks the same when he first started his channel.
Huge. They're not to the point where, oh wow, he must be a fake natty because look at his arms. If anything, train your arms even more. I mean, that is your show muscle. Every single video I see you, you're wearing a blue tank top. The muscles you want to have the biggest to make you look impressive are delts and arms. Of all the muscles, that is the only one I've ever seen. When do you all see...
Can you imagine following an exercise guy that doesn't want to hypertrophy? He doesn't want to get big. He just wants to stay small the whole time. And then he's telling all of you how you should be exercising, getting big. Like I mean, talk about Jeremy Ethier, right? He's telling you, hey man, you should do this and that and grow muscles and do this and do that. And you got to do this, that. None of it's based on his experience. Why? Because he's never hypertrophied. He's never built any myofibrillar growth or done anything. Anything. He just makes exercise slave videos for exercise slaves. Get it? He enslaves exercise slaves, peasant slaves, to exercise. You understand me? And then he uses science. He uses science because he can't use experience. He uses science to exercise you. I don't use science to exercise myself. I've never used science. Now, I use science to prove what I'm talking about in hypertrophy. But I do not use these science things that people are talking about. You have to do this and do that in science to get this and get that and do this and do that and blah, blah, blah. I don't do any of that, man. I don't do science-based lifting. Get it, bro? That's all fake, man, because that's not based on their experience. I just base it on my experience. Damage, repair a new model, and be in positive nitrogen balance. How hard is that to understand? Lift periodically. Apply extreme exercise, lift periodically once a week, right? And apply extreme exercise, focus on the eccentric, focus on getting micro damages when you're in the gym, right? And then the rest of the week, focus on hypertrophy, be in positive nitrogen balance. How hard is that? And your muscles and your hypertrophy, you'll build myofibrillar growth. Now, if you want to add a little bit of sarcoplasmic, then eat some complex carbohydrates. And you'll add some of this so-called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. You'll look even bigger. But I guarantee you, you don't want to go that route.
Jeremy training his legs. Has anyone ever seen Jeremy's quads? Does he have them? Does he have hamstring calves?
Yeah.
I don't see them. And so, does it make sense to stop training a show muscle? Who doesn't want to have bigger arms? This is what you see almost the most. Arms, shoulders, and chest. So, of course, you're going to train that. You don't slow down on training the most important muscles.
We took care of volume.
So, we sure did take care of volume. We said everything he said essentially is wrong.
Frequency, huge debate in the natty space. I've been training, let's say, twice a week, whole body.
Yep, that's what I've been doing. Whole body twice a week. That's what I...
You can't train a whole body twice a week because you would disrupt the repair and the remodeling. DOMs usually last, you wouldn't want to do it anyways. The DOMs will last between 3 to 4 days after an initial bout of exercise-induced muscle damage. So why would you come back twice a week? That just would defeat the purpose. You would actually cause the muscle to atrophy if you were to come back in the same week. So like I said, it would defeat the purpose of hypertrophy. See what I mean? That's just ridiculous.
Do. Now, they're saying as a beginner, that's what you're doing. That would absolutely work. Personally, when I coach people and they're beginners, I try to tell them to train their entire bodies 2 or 3 times a week. I think it's the most simplest, it's the most effective.
Holy shit.
And
he said 2 or 3 times a week, 3 times a week even. That absolutely defeats the purpose of muscles hypertrophy. Absolutely. And now it's adapted completely to the exercise. So it's protected by the motor unit recruitment.
I think that's what people should start at. If you start doing a bro split on day 1, having to train 7 days a week, sometimes it's too much. If it's 2 or 3 times a week, most people can commit to that. You're going to get consistent gains. You're going to be able to rest.
You're going to get consistent gains. Yeah, sure you are. Yeah,
Day between each and every workout, sometimes even 2 days. And so I think that that's going to give you the gains. You don't have to push yourself so hard. So when you train less frequency, for example, so let's say you do your chest once a week, you're going to have to do a lot of chest on that one single day, and you're probably going to get very sore. If you spread it out over 3 different sessions.
I like that. If you do that chest, you're probably going to get pretty sore. Yeah, maybe you got micro injuries. I don't know. Now he wants you to spread it out.
You don't have to do too much. And so, for example, imagine this. You're just doing 1 or 2 sets of chest 3 times a week. That equals to 3 to 6 sets a week. For a beginner, that's more than...
Chest 3 times a week. You're gonna exercise your chest 3 times a week? Or are you going to cause these micro damages 3 times a week in your chest? Impossible. You can't micro damage your chest 3 times a week. You'd get rhabdo and end up in a stupor, in a coma, in a hospital.
Enough. That's all you need to do.
You get a decent jump in gains. It seems to be about 30% jump in gains, going from 1 time per week to 2 times per week.
And so he understands the law of diminished returns when it comes to this, but he didn't understand.
The law of diminished returns. No, the law of myonuclear domain size limit. Reach the ceiling limit beyond where the satellite cell can donate any more nuclei. So what do you need to do? You need to repeat that.
And when it comes to training volume, you go from training once a week to twice a week, you see about a 30% improvement in size. So rather than...
Yeah, if you're coming in more often now, you're an endurance athlete, and endurance is associated with sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. So again, how do muscles grow? They don't. They hypertrophy. So one is based on sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, right? Coming in, you can come in often and try to gobble down these carbohydrates all day. The other one is a much more complex process. It's based on myofibrillar growth. Myofibrillar growth is based on periodic lifting. Sarcoplasmic consistent lifting, like what fucking this idiot is saying, and eating glycogen all day. Yeah.
Gaining 10 pounds the first year by training 1 day a week, you might gain 13.
How do you know that 10 pounds is myofibrillar growth and not sarcoplasmic?
Pounds the first year by training twice a week. I think that most people can wrap our heads around that. It makes...
You know how do I know? Because if I never got DOMs, if I didn't get DOMs and I wasn't in positive nitrogen balance from eating protein, and I was just coming in 3 days a week, whatever, and I was eating my shitty carbohydrate, peasant slave food diet, carbohydrate diet, 80% is like 90% is like carbohydrate and 10% protein, then I would know at the end it was sarcoplasmic at it, because I never got DOMs. I never really built any myofibrillar growth. I gotta say, but my lifts went up. Yeah, it's this motor unit, neural drive, bro. Neural drive, man. Whatever. Get the idea. I'll see you in the next one. Tell us what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See how ridiculous this is.
Sense, training twice a week is better than one. And so if you train 3 times a week,
Trying to damage muscles twice a week is better than training it once a week, right? You understand me? And hypertrophying it the rest of the week. So it's better to keep trying to damage your muscles, keep trying to go there and damaging. If twice a week didn't work, let's go 3 times a week and try to damage them. Well, here's the thing, if twice a week didn't work, what would 3 times going to the gym trying to damage these muscle fibers to try to make them magically grow from damaging them? How would that work out for you exactly? You understand me? If it didn't work out for you once, twice, 3 times, it's not going to work out at all. See what I mean? You have to focus on damaging them periodically and then being in positive nitrogen balance, hypertrophying them the rest of the week. But you're not doing that because you're coming in trying to break proteins down, not once, but twice, but 3 times a week. So if once didn't work out breaking down proteins, we'll come in twice a week. Well, if that didn't work out, let's come in 3 times a week breaking down proteins and absolutely be adapted and never hypertrophying these muscles. Whoa, that's smart. Let's really make sure that we don't hypertrophy our muscles or cause damage by coming in 3 times a week. Yeah, okay, sure, man.
you're not going to see a 16-pound change. You might see 14. It might also be 13. It depends on your body and individual difference, how you like to train, how you like to manage your recovery, and so on.
You're not going to see anything. What you're going to see coming in 3 times a week is more inflammation, get it? 10% of your muscles, they inflame from exercising more often. So that's all you're ever going to see in the gym. Okay, dude? I'll see you in the next one. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe. Comment in the comment section. See you later, man. If you like the video, I don't know. Maybe you don't like it.